Are the top Warzone streamers in the world cheating? Today, we're diving in, spectating, and seeing if it's actually skill or something more. He is putting these guys in a clinic. As it stands right now, we are on our way to go find a streamer. This streamer's name is Reave, and he's arguably one of the top 10 mouse and keyboard players in Warzone. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw a chopper right over this man's head, and by the way, he is literally right here. And he's gonna kill me. And that's Reave right there, a level 1000 player, an absolute demon at the game. And I just watched him play with the FJX Imperium, which to me means that he's gonna be doing some wild things today. So I'm excited to see how it goes. With that said, I do wanna take a couple of notes off rip. A lot of people think the streamers cheat. Have your own opinion. That is absolutely fine. I know that there's a lot of people that, that do some nefarious things behind the scene, whether that be boxing or VPNing or this, that, or the other thing. I will say to hop into the games of all the streamers that I ever hop in with, they are not doing that from what I can tell, because I don't box, I don't VPN, I don't do anything like that. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at Reave here, who, like I said, is a top 10 mouse and keyboard player, an absolute demon. This is his name right here. If you need to double check, that's him. But my curiosity today is going to be how he plays, right? I like hopping in and taking a look at these players because it allows me to kind of learn from, you know, the player that they've eliminated kind of standpoint, what's missing, why people would think they're cheating, why they get reported, stuff like that. So a big thing that people misunderstand is how the spectating mode works. They misunderstand how kill cams work, and kill cams actually have more information than spectating does. So when you go to watch a kill cam, oftentimes on the right hand side of your screen, it'll say live ping, it'll say something like that. But when you're spectating, that stuff just doesn't show up for you. It doesn't show live pings. UAVs, if you look at the minimap right now, they just popped a UAV. You know there's a guy up top. They have specialists. Reave has specialists. We've just watched him pick it up, and it's not showing anything. What that should tell you is that UAVs don't work properly. They're not gonna work all the time. Oftentimes, you'll see people pop up that start shooting whenever a UAV is active, but not all the time will that work either. On top of that, one thing that I actually had mentioned to me in a recent video, and I am working toward making this happen, I had someone say, hey, Expel, why don't you just go over someone's footage? Why don't, if you want to check out a streamer and kind of explain what they're doing and, you know, how they play and stuff like that, why not check out their footage? I've reached out to a few people. I've got things working behind the scenes, but it does take a little bit of time. And so, of course, I know people love spectating, and I wanted to dive in and do that exactly today. So again, we're taking a look at Reave here, and you're going to have to keep in mind a few of these things that don't work. Like I said, you know, we don't get live pings all the time. We don't get UAV stuff all the time. There is a delay in where Reave's going to be aiming. And the interesting thing with him being a mouse and keyboard player is that it's going to look super snappy. And that's because spectating is basically fake. It's all just a recreation of what's happening. Now, when you're playing and you've got a teammate, this is the wildest build I've ever seen. What the hell? This dude's rocking a Jack Decimator. Look at that body. What is he doing? What is that buzzsaw looking thing? But you're gonna notice a lot of this stuff looks pretty snappy. The issue is with spectating, it's hard to tell exactly what's going on, but to be fair, yeah, again, Reave is an absolutely disgusting player. So that's kind of what I'll say off rip. Just know if I see something that could be explained from it being bugged, I will do my best to explain that to you. With that said, I do have my settings as high as physically possible. Literally, I have all my graphic settings as high as possible. So hopefully that'll help negate a lot of the things that they get confusing with what they're seeing at a distance. I believe most professional players play in 1440p. I play in 4K, which actually lets you see just a little bit more. So I play in 4K, which I really love. I think it's incredible. But there's going to be people on PlayStation, on Xbox, where they have dynamic resolution turned on by default and they can't change that. And at a distance, you can't see the same things. Even up close, there's going to be times where you can't see the same things. And of course, PC has an advantage with visual fidelity, frames, stuff like that. Frames do win games at the end of the day. So I understand why people don't like that, you know, Call of Duty slams everybody together. But what you don't know is they actually try their best to not do that. Whenever you hop into a match, 9 times out of 10, what they're doing, the reason it takes so long to get you into a match is because they're trying to put you with players that are similar to you. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're talking about skill. We're talking about your input device, which is why if you're on mouse and keyboard, mouse and keyboard. If you're on mouse and keyboard, you'll often run into cheaters. That's how Reave got me in his lobby. That was a joke. So that's why oftentimes you'll see a mouse and keyboard player gets a lot of cheaters, or it'll take longer to get them into a game, and it's because they are on an input that has less people on that input. And the same thing goes for PlayStation and Xbox. They're trying to put you in lobbies with PlayStation and Xbox players. So when people are super concerned about whether or not this player or that player has an advantage, yeah, there's going to be times where you fight people that are, you know, having some sort of advantage with their equipment. That happens. Unless you're in a professional scenario, like you're literally playing for money, then it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you know, someone has a better pair of headphones than you. Everybody has different equipment across the board, a better controller. The Expel Pro Plus controller, which is not on right now. Hold on, we'll come back to it. The Expel Pro Plus controller, absolutely incredible controller with a ton of stuff. He is dominating. I was looking for a different word, but Lord have mercy, dominating. Look at this. Okay. Cracks him. Misses. Jesus God almighty, that is insane. But there's just so many different variables whenever you're playing in a public lobby. And unless it comes down to playing for money, I don't think there's really a reason to fuss about things like that, because at the end of the day, everybody's on a different system. Everybody has different internet. Everybody has different headphones. Everybody's on a different monitor. Everybody like has a different input device. It just doesn't make sense to be upset about the advantages. At the end of the day, you just have to take what you can. And the people like Reave, like myself, that have put in, you know, time and money into getting rid of all the friction are obviously going to do better, because it gives you an opportunity to showcase your skill at its max. So one, I will say, if you're ever in the market to get some new gear, I have the highest recommended gear on my website. I've gone through and done a ton of research. I highly recommend you go check it out. So go check that out over on expel.gg. Plus, if you're in the market for a controller, this thing right here, the Expel Pro Plus, you can also go to expel.gg. Make sure to use code EXPEL at checkout, and you will dominate with this thing. All right? And that's if you're on PlayStation. You know, it'll make you a better player, just because it takes away that friction. A lot of what we see with these players is, you know, the pro players, they have gotten rid of their friction, except for right there whenever he starts playing like a goober. The guy hopped in a car. He's probably going to go for the kill right here. So Reave is going to rotate. Ooh, interesting play. The other guy just got up. He heard that audio cue. Reave looked at the guy with the sniper so that he could hit the shot. Guy up on top of the building, I think. Possibly. He's on top of the building. He just saw the shadow. Honestly, what a masterclass in awareness right there. You know, when you see these players, this is kind of one of those situations where you know they're not cheating, right? Because there were audio cues. You know, you hear the guy mantle, and then you see the guy with his shadow on that fence jump. And that's kind of one thing that I really love, right? He clearly did. Holy shit. Oh my God. What the f did I just see? He is putting these guys in a goddamn clinic. What is happening? And you can still see him trying to make micro adjustments, even though we're spectating, and spectating is bugged. And I kind of love that, especially on mouse and keyboard. You know, you're not as smooth on mouse and keyboard as you are on controller, but he's got specialist. It kind of makes you feel like a super soldier. This guy is such a freak. He nades himself thinking that the car is going to push him. See, that's kind of the big thing. When you're watching players, what I think happens with a lot of people is that they look for cheating. You know, you go in with some sort of confirmation bias. And I look, this is the first time I've ever spectated Reave. I know that he's a top player. I've seen his name before. I've seen that he makes content and stuff like that. But this is my first time from a spectator view ever seeing him play. I have not realistically ever even seen him play, but just looking, I can tell the game sense that he has. Now, sure, you could get somebody that's cheating that has game sense, but 99.999999999% of the time, the people that cheat, you'll be able to tell because they have a lack of awareness. The reason people cheat is because they're ass at the game. That's really what it comes down to. So when you watch somebody that has awareness, honestly, if they were going to cheat, you'd never know it. Because they're like, it doesn't even help them. Like, that's the thing. It just would not even help them to cheat. And that's why it's always so confusing, because at that point, like, once you're at that tippy top, what's the point? You know, what's the point? Because you get much more out of it if you don't. But this isn't in defense of streamers or anything like that. I'm just kind of trying to explain how you can tell the difference between someone that is or is not cheating. But just looking at Reave, you can tell his awareness. You can tell that he's paying attention to the little bitty details. And so he saw that shadow earlier. He's paying attention to his minimap. He's popping UAVs. He's holding a UAV, which you can see in the bottom right. Again, it does show that he's on a UAV, or that a UAV was popped on him. Holy shit, Reave! What are we doing, brother? What even is that, dude? That is what I'm talking about, though. Full awareness. He had two guys on the map right there. He shows up. He tries to hit one guy with a car. He doesn't hit it. He starts shooting the guy with the SMG, but he's aware that he has to switch to the other guy. And as a mouse and keyboard player, you get that initial on target. Like, you are always going to be on target initially more than a controller player, because a controller player doesn't have as precise movement, which is why we get slow down aim assist on controller. Mouse and keyboard, they can be pinpoint accurate off rip, but they don't have good tracking in 99% of scenarios. So that's why when you're looking at him, he's using the cock your gun sideways, tactical stance. Oh, he's dead. That's why he's using tactical stance. This guy might be doing the thing. I don't know. I can't really tell. That guy was being weird. But that's why he's using tactical stance, is because it's harder to track. So if you have something that's semi-accurate, doesn't slow you down as much, you can actually stay on target much better. I've actually heard a lot about this. And when I was on mouse and keyboard, I actually loved using tac stance weapons as long as they were mostly accurate. So watching him do it and just put people in a clinic, dude. I mean, like, it is beautiful. It really is. Now, he does only have 13 eliminations. I say only because we've seen people with more. I mean, we saw Twitty back in Urzikstan with like 30 something, which is the most I had ever seen. And the irony is that y'all missed out on the one where I watched J-Device drop. I think it was like 35. It was so upsetting that I didn't get to see that. And then we ran it back. I went back and spectated him again. He still put on a clinic. And I think it's super interesting because people are like, well, if you spectate a streamer and they know you're spectating them, then they're not going to turn their cheats on. And then they still drop 30. So if they have their cheats off and they're dropping that many, why would they need the cheats? And the only answer that I know people are going to throw out there, which I think is super interesting, is consistency. They can consistently do well. And it's like, you know what happens to people that cheat? Have y'all ever seen the streamers that actually got caught cheating and faded into anonymity? Just disappear off the face of the planet? Because once you get caught, you get rid of it, right? And then once you get rid of it, you suck ass. And then when you suck ass, people notice. Like, you will eventually just fall off. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is that life will treat people exactly as they deserve to be treated. It just takes a little time. And oftentimes, once it's figured, it's like that. Once it's figured out, it's like that. So I think it's a very interesting thing. I know it's kind of it's thought-provoking to say the least, but I also know that there's going to be people that comment on this for literal months to come, because every video I've done where I've spectated someone that is outrageously good at the game and someone that has super awareness. The problem is if you don't have an awareness and a game sense at the same level, you will not be able to understand, because it takes years and years to understand how they're doing what they're doing. So the reason that I spectate these people is so that I can kind of walk you through it. And sure, you know, you can believe what you want at the end of the day. I'm not going to take away, you know, like your opportunity to have an opinion, but you're probably not right. It's just that you just don't know as much. And I'm not saying everyone that's watching this by any means. I'm not trying to sound like an egotistical prick. I'm just trying to explain that there's such a gap of knowledge 99% of the time that it really changes the way that people see players that are better than them. And at the end of the day, dude, it is a video game, and it's so interesting to see people get so worked up and so hateful toward people that they don't know personally, they know nothing about, they don't have an understanding of why they would or wouldn't do something like that. So it's always so interesting, and whenever I make these videos and I try and share my perspective on it, people get so lost. They get so lost, and they'll be like, well, you said this, and it's like, motherfucker, no, I didn't. You read the title. That's it. You read the title. You didn't care enough to listen to what I had to say. So usually with videos like this, what I'll do is I'll respond in the first 48 hours of comments, and the rest of the comments, most of the time after that, are just people that want to bitch because they died to somebody, or they spectated us, or they died to somebody that was streaming and spectated them, or, you know, they watched a streamer and they're like, ah, that motherfucker. But anytime somebody hops in on my videos and they timestamp something, I do my best to explain, because I know that it can be confusing. Now, there are times where it's like, holy shit, you're an ignorant asshole. And I will say that as well. It's like, if you're not coming at it through questions and, you know, through curiosity, I will give you right back what you gave to me. But I think it is what it is. It's hard to do something like this and have so many people just bold-faced lie to you and not gain some kind of ego. It's hard to hold on to humility whenever the only thing you can do is just build up a wall. And I think people forget that, you know? God bless. That was beautiful. And he's getting the specialist back, which is incredible. He chowed for the specialist. Now, the reason people like specialists, especially myself, I'll tell you this. The reason people like specialists is it turns you into a super soldier. There's so many things in specialists that allows you to do things that you can't do normally. Now, they actually have, in a very, very crazy turn of events, made the perk system insanely balanced. It is a very balanced right now. Everything has its give and take. And the thing about specialists is that you get every perk, right? So when you get every perk, you can then chow literally anything. You can put yourself in situations that you couldn't otherwise. And the reason why is because you have that quick fix, you have that tempered, you also have survivor so that you can heal up more quickly, you also have scavenger so that you can pick up loot off of people's body, but you also have quartermaster, so if you can't push somebody's body to get your equipment, to get your ammo, you're going to be able to fill up that equipment, right? There's mountaineer, so if you're trying to fight somebody, you can always drop on them whenever they would expect you to pull your parachute and get a free elimination. You know, there's so many of these little perks. There's grenadier, there's bomb squad. Everything comes into play. And what is the one where it delays explosives? I can't think of what it is, but everything in specialist just turns you into a super soldier. Now, notice that he's pushing a direct place right here. Now, we're going to go back to what I said earlier, where, first of all, incredible shots and incredible aim right there. But we're going to go back to what I was saying earlier, where he's obviously popping UAVs. We know he's got bird's eye. So anytime he pops a UAV, it shows ghosted players and it shows unghosted players every time. But on that minimap, it doesn't show anything. And the reason why is because it's busted. So when you're spectating someone, just know you're not getting all the information that you're looking for. Now, there are some other players that we're going to be spectating today, at least one more, and I'm hoping that they can play at the same capacity as Reave. Now, ironically, the game before this, I was watching Reave. Like I said, I had multi-Twitch up and I was looking at a bunch of streams to see who I wanted to spectate. I was watching Reave. He ended up losing, but he had like 30 kills. This man dropped 30, around, I think it was like 28 or something. But he dropped that many eliminations. He was in the middle of the map, just pop, pop, pop. It was beautiful. Beautiful. Oh no, oh no. Holy shit! Thank God neither of them can aim today. No, he was getting hit by that thermite. So the reason he's missing his shots right there is because that thermite, it's shaking your screen. I actually had this happen in a video recently on my main channel. This is my main channel. On this channel, where I tried, no, I lied. It was on Expel Plus, where I chowed something through a thermite, but the thermite, it kind of messes up your screen. So even though it looks like on his screen, he's aiming at the guy, he's actually missing it just a hair. Terrible smoke. That was so sad that it just bounced off the ground right there. So what players will do is they'll throw the nade or the smoke against the ground. And most of the time, smokes have kind of like a specific trajectory and a specific force coming out of your hand. So if you toss it and there's not like a rock faced up like this, it won't stop. It'll keep bouncing. It'll bounce once pretty far. And what happened there is he hit like a teeny tiny little ledge that bounced it back. So that what he's doing is he's throwing it against the ground, because if he throws it high, then it's gonna hit that bounce no matter what. So he's trying to get rid of that. Now, you may see just a second ago, there was a guy popping up here. The reason why is because that guy's shooting. That is one thing that can sometimes pop up. Oh no, that guy got ran over. That is something that can pop up. And it looks like that one guy is gonna be our next person. If I did, yeah. Because he knows that that guy's there. He's got a guy right there for free. Yep. And then he's got one more guy, which is right here. And if he loses this, I will cry. He's gonna lose it. I shit you not. He is going to lose this. The guy clustered himself. Yeah, the guy clustered himself. What a way to go. All right, so that's Reave. We're gonna move on to our next guy, and I'll see you there. And we are diving in to find the one and only Bobby Poff. There he is, generic name 16. As you can see, clearly Bobby. Feel free to look it up, but very obviously Bobby. I was shooting it on the way up. But very funny that his name is generic name 15. The reason that I know that it's him is because that is what streamer mode looks like now. It doesn't say match player. With that said, he is clearly another mouse and keyboard player. If you don't know anything about Bobby, he plays on mouse and keyboard. And from what I understand, that was because he had problems with his hands with controller, which is actually a reason that I love playing mouse and keyboard. I did, is because I used to have issues with my hands, but now that I have my Expel Pro Plus controller, I actually haven't had issues in a very, very long time. So Bobby, I believe, looking at his stream, does not have specialist. As a quick heads up, he lands on this building just like Reave did to grab himself some specialist. So we're gonna be taking a look at Bobby, because as you know, he had a cheating scandal, but he was cleared by Activision themselves because the cheating scandal was actually due to an exploit by cheaters that would type something in while he was in a game, and it would make it look like he had something. It's a little hard to explain. If you weren't there for the moment, just know that Activision confirmed no cheaty. So this is one perfect example of someone that has literally been cleared by the game developer themselves. Now, obviously, to each their own. If you don't trust Activision, I frankly don't blame you, but you can't have it both ways, where you believe that bans are real, but then all of a sudden streamers have specific privileges. I think that's a little goofy. Obviously, there's certain things that make sense, like a streamer mode where he's not getting stream sniped by people that are gonna try and spam report him, but it doesn't mean that they can't get banned, because we literally saw Bobby get banned. And they had to say they were wrong, which I think is kind of hilarious. And then they never apologized, which was very interesting. But such is life. I have met Bobby, I think, twice in real life. Seems like a chill guy. I don't know much more past that, other than when he plays, his mouth is like... I don't know if that's a branding thing or what, but it looks like he's still got his regular perks. He never got specialist. Just as a quick heads up, he's rocking the LC10, and as a reminder, he is playing on mouse and keyboard. Now, one thing I'll say about Bobby is that he is not nearly as good as Reave whenever it comes to his preferred input. And the reason I'm telling you this is because the difference between Bobby and Reave is going to be very apparent. Reave has a ton, from what I understand, a ton of what is it called when you like aim train? Aim train. He has a ton of aim training, right? There's a few people like Reave out there. Most of them play Rebirth, by the way, but he does a ton of aim training. Bobby hops on, he just games. The last game that he just played right before this one, he dropped it at like a 12 kill win, Nothing outrageous, nothing insane. And most of the time you're gonna see him use something that's broken for mouse and keyboard, which is shotguns. But right now, there's no really good shotgun in the game. The last time I died to Bobby in a game was actually using the Origin back in what was it? Urzikstan, I think? Yeah, the Origin 12 shotgun in Urzikstan. So I'm checking his chat to even see. It looks like no one noticed that he eliminated me, which is good. I'm gonna check his Twitch chat as well, just to make sure. Toggle chat. No. Not a soul noticed that Bobby shot me, which is actually kind of interesting. because I just went in and started popping shots. Now, I'm not really trying to hide whether or not, you know, it's me dying to these guys. And the reason why is because, again, it's completely pointless. If they're going to cheat, they're going to cheat, right? But this time, my goal is to kind of pay attention to what Bobby does, how he plays. And I think the way that Bobby plays, I'm going to be honest, I don't think Bobby is the best player. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad player by any means, but I don't think he's the best player. He's not even, I would not put Bobby in like a top 100 player type of thing. He is very intelligent. I think he makes some smart plays and he always focuses in on doing the smartest thing, but I don't think he has that muscle control that a lot of these other players have. He sat there and tried to put the code in and somebody had already put it in. Somebody already put a goddamn code in. Okay, so now Bobby has specialist. He's got an advanced UAV in his pocket. He's got a regular UAV. And you can see, interestingly enough, it is showing a couple of people who look like they may have shot. And that's my guess. The other guy just disappeared. This guy just disappeared. So it had been a minute since they shot. So like I said, from what I can tell, those guys popping up whenever a UAV is popped, it comes down to them shooting at some point in time. I think he's getting stream sniped. Oh my God. Oh, he caught it. What? What? He caught the goddamn chopper, dude. That is crazy. That was actually really cool. I've never seen somebody do it. And the fact that he just went for it is such a baller move, bro. That's actually really cool. No, I do want to let y'all know, I don't really have any ties to any streamers. That, like, in my opinion, some of the best people in this space is Joe and Isaac. They're the only people that every time I see them out, like at an event or something like that, they always go out of their way, regardless of who they're talking to come say hey to me. And I appreciate the hell out of them. That is incredible. There's a lot of people that I came up with in this space that do not say a word to me, do not acknowledge me and stuff like that when they see me. So it's very nice whenever there's people that are very clearly humble. They have humility. And a lot of people aren't going to see that because they don't quite understand what it's like on the other side of being a content creator, because a lot of people see these guys as people with massive egos. But hear me out. If you on the daily have thousands of people that you don't know, thousands of people just constantly tearing you down 24/7, just saying you're doing this, 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 wouldn't you, when you're actively proving them wrong, feel incredible when you get a pointed out? And when you explain things bar for bar for bar on how it works, wouldn't you feel great to do that? It's not about ego. It's about being like, look, I told you, dude. Like, I've been trying to tell you. You know, it's stuff like that. And I think a lot of people kind of misunderstand creators. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely some assholes out there. I've told stories repeatedly back when I used to stream about the people that I will stay away from forever. Because regardless of... Oh shit, he's dead. Nope, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Oh my God. If he hits that corner, he dies right there, by the way. But you know, I've ran into people in the time that I've been a creator. I've name dropped and everything. Like the people that just aren't great and are good in front of a camera, but behind closed doors actually have an ego. It's very interesting. Usually the people that are super over the top, super nice and stuff like that, those are the ones that are actually assholes. It's very interesting how that works, but some people just know how to put a facade on, you know? But I'm not name calling now. I'm not going to name drop in this moment. I don't see the point in it. But if you notice, Bobby likes to play for a win, and that's why you won't see him actively going out of his way to get high kill eliminations or high kill games, lots of eliminations, stuff like that. I was actually watching Rally last night. I was trying to spectate him last night. Couldn't get into his game. I was on the struggle bus, dude. He just he just was dodge me by a second every time, and I'm like, God dang it, I'm trying to spectate this man. But I was watching Rally last night, and he mentioned how Bobby loves to do recon contracts, and that's how I actually know this, is because I was like listening to Rally talk. And so seeing Bobby today, it's actually, oh man, oh my God, I'm trying to see that from his perspective. Oh, that was, and then you see him miss every bullet after that. God, that is the most miserable thing. The guy's still not in the car. He's in the car now. That is insane. That he hits the guy in the car and then misses all the shots because he's moving on the train afterwards. Now, if you don't know, the train actually changes the way that your bullet moves. This has been a thing forever. Literally since trains came to Warzone, it's been a problem. When you're on the train, the physics of your bullets don't work the same. So you can literally shoot directly into somebody's face and the bullet will go past them because of the way that the physics work. And then right there, he does it again. And I guarantee he just doesn't give a shit enough to like hop. Ooh, good little jump up right there. Good shot. Yeah, I think right now, I think would be a great opportunity for us to just kind of learn what he's doing here. And by the way, just because I pointed out the people that have been nice to me in the past doesn't mean that I'm saying that everybody that's not Joe or Isaac is bad by any means. I'm just pointing out people that every time I see them in person, they're excited to say stuff to me. I've actually ran into creators that I had helped numerous times with their content, and then I see them in person, they act like I don't exist. Just know, I do know that some creators can be assholes and only think about themselves. Like that's how that works. But when I make these videos, I kind of just try to give perspective, right? Like that's my goal, is to give a little bit of perspective. Because right now what we're doing is we're seeing from someone's point of view that would have died to Bobby or would have died to Reave or something like that. We get to see from their point of view. And I can kind of walk you through how things work, which is very nice. But watching Bobby, it's going to be a little bit different. And the reason why is because he's not going to be making these wild ass plays. Like, of course, he's a mouse keyboard player. He's going to hit shots with a sniper rifle. But he is not the greatest player on the planet. And so what he does is he plays for a win. He will hop in and he will do intel contracts. He'll make sure that he goes and gets enough done to where now he knows this circle right here. And then he's going to pop this buy station, top of the roof. He's preparing himself for that late game. Now, Bobby, from what I understand, will actually play with people like Grits, who is the #1 most winning player in the world. I actually reached out to Grits to get a gameplay, like I mentioned earlier, people that I'm reaching out to, because I want to break down things like this. And I want to share that knowledge and help you all improve by taking a look at some of these top players. And so one thing that and this is why I kind of push so hard on the fact that I hate that people just constantly say that these people are cheating, because when you actually watch these guys, you can learn so much. There's such a massive opportunity to learn, and people just skip right over that opportunity to learn and instead focus on, oh, well, he's got to be doing the thing. And it's like, you're missing so much information. You don't understand what you're talking about. So my goal with content like this is to be able to explain to you, by the way, he does need a reload. I don't know if you noticed that, but is to be able to explain the thought processes that go through these guys' heads. At least from my perspective. So sitting on $26,000, he is literally just going to chill out here. That's my guess, is he's just going to chill out here. I watched his last game while I was waiting for him to hop into the next one. And what I noticed is that he'll literally just sit. He'll just sit, read chat, chill, not worry about anything, not think about anything. He's just waiting for the circle. Because honestly, if you look at this circle right here, you can see he's so early. It is third circle. It still has to move in. And then he's got another circle, and then that's got to move in, and then he's got this one. Now he's holding this buy station, right? He's got this buy station in his pocket. And so when that late game comes, he can use that to get literally whatever he needs. He's gone out of his way to not utilize his advanced UAV. So he's just playing super smart. He's not going to drop. He's going to keep his position. If he doesn't keep his position, he's playing like a moron. But I guarantee he stays up top, because if he focuses on positioning, he will do. Why does my monitor sometimes cut off? So one thing I don't like about these OLEDs is that they like auto cut off whenever you're not like within a specific distance. But he's trying to make it seem like he's not paying attention. And then he's going to go over. Let the guy get hit by the progs mines. Oh, that's some psychopathic behavior, dude. That is insane, actually. Oh, that I would be on tilt, to be quite honest. To be quite honest, I would be on super tilt. He's like giggling over on his stream, bro. I got it pulled up on my right monitor so that I can see it, but Yeah, there's just going to be a few things that you don't get to see on your screen versus on his screen. I'm trying to see if there's any differences right now. I think we're all set right now. Obviously, you can see that he has prox mines in his inventory, but just like with Reave, he's got quartermaster or restock or whatever the hell it's called right now. And what that does is it shows a little bar to see that he's slowly gaining his stuff back. Oh, this is unfortunate. Get the fuck out of there, Bobby. See, instead of full-blown challenging that, he knows he's on mouse and keyboard. And this is kind of the difference that you're going to see between mouse and keyboard players and controller players, is that he knows he's on mouse and keyboard, so he can't take a close-range fight. And the reason why is because he's not going to have tracking good enough. Again, he plays for wins, which means he's not getting in a ton of gunfights. So because he's not getting into a ton of gunfights, he's not getting that practice, he's not getting that aim training. So unless he was to play how Reave plays, which is going balls to the wall and then doing a shitload of aim training for like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours a day, then he's never going to be at that level. So when you look at certain players, you're going to see that they have their positives, they have their negatives. You know, they're good at some things, they're bad at other things. But for Bobby, clearly that comes down to aiming. He has used a lot of crutches while he plays. This isn't to say that he's bad overall. I'm just saying that there's going to be a lot of scenarios where he's not going to do as well. He's got that pinpoint accuracy with a sniper, and that's because he's good with the long range weapons, which is what mouse and keyboard is good at. But he isn't good at close range. So usually he keeps a shotgun, something that he can hip fire, and that's why you saw Reave using something that had tactical stance, is the exact same thing. But just taking a look at him, he's using the darkest skin in the game, which is going to be Black Noir. He has left his prox mines on the ground. My guess is he's going to fill up on the grenades just a little bit. He's going to let it restock up. And then just in case a helicopter comes by, he's going to be able to blow it up pretty much instantly. So he's just chilling out. There's about 16 players left in this lobby, a very fast dying lobby. And what that usually means, if it's a fast dying lobby, either the player we're spectating, who by the way has 5 eliminations, is dominating everything, or there's another guy in the lobby that's stupid good at the game. And knowing that I have a 6 KD, I can guarantee that he got multiple people in this game that are really good. And they tend to run into each other a lot. If you don't kind of understand how gunfights work in Warzone, is that the people that are really good in the game tend to run into each other very often, right? Because what'll end up, unless they land on complete opposite sides of the map, basically a good player understands how other, oh, what the fuck are you doing, Bobby? I try to read the guy's name. Oh my God. Dude, he just chows for no reason. See, this is kind of why I knew it was going to happen. And look at who killed him. The guy's a level 1000. This is kind of why I like, and by the way, has more kills than Bobby. Just as a quick heads up. This is probably the guy that just died in that building. We're going to switch over to one more thing after this, but this is probably the guy that just died in that building, but it's so interesting that Bobby dies right there, but he just makes one mistake. So watching Bobby play quads is very different because he has somebody that's like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But when you're playing solos, you've got that in the back of the head. You're like, all right, as a content creator, I got to go for something. I got to go for something. Everybody's getting bored. Everybody's getting bored. And that's why in my videos, I always go balls to the wall, is because it gets kind of boring when you're watching somebody that's, oh, this guy's interesting. He's pretty decent, dude. And by the way, oh my God, I actually kind of want to see this Sun Wukong guy, because he's playing like a freak. The fact that like Bobby's gonna make that mistake is so goofy to me, because it's very, oh my God, it's very clear that it was a dumb thing to do. He plays so smart up until that exact moment. He doesn't need to move. There's no reason to go anywhere. And then he drops down because in the back of his head, he's like, oh, I got to get a little bit of action for the people watching my stream. And that's something that when I changed that and I just stopped giving a shit about, like, whenever I'm going for content specifically outside of Expel Plus, whenever I started focusing on, all right, let's just build a story instead of let's just get a ton of kills, I feel like my content improved drastically because I was able to make it to the end of the game and slow it down a little bit and just have conversation. And I don't know if that's something you all enjoy, but I think it's great. I think it's so much better. Holy moly. By the way, people that use thermites, I was watching Joe use thermites last night while I was, again, trying to look for someone to spectate. I was watching Joe use thermites, and what he knew that they were dog shit, but what he'd do is he'd toss it places and people would be too scared to fight it because your instant reaction when you have a thermite in your face is to not push it. But they're terrible. Even if they hit you and they stick you, they don't kill you. They literally physically will not kill you if you get stuck with a thermite. No matter if you have like perks that are supposed to, you know, lower grenade damage or not, it just won't kill you. It's not a one-hit kill no matter what, which is super interesting. I'm just spectating this guy. I mean, this is what Bobby should have done, you know? Just watching this. Like, it is so goofy to me. And then he misses his shots, dude. This is so weird. And then we spectate someone completely different. I don't understand. I do not, in any capacity, understand how this game works. Whenever you switch spectators. Like, just randomly. It's like, nah, actually, I think you should watch this random dude. Either way, let's go on to the next person, and hopefully I can teach you a little bit more there. Diving into this match, we are going to be spectating one player I bet you didn't expect to see today, and that player is me. Basically, you're going to be watching me, and I'm going to be trying my best to explain how I play. I'm going to do my best to, in the moment, walk you through what I'm doing. And just like the last two guys, we are going to be going to downtown. I'm going to work my way over here. Now, there may be times I get a little quiet. I'm going to try my best to, you know, step back, explain what I just did, stuff like that in certain moments. But we're going to be diving straight in and trying our best to get specialists, similar to how we saw the last two guys. So I'm working my way over. I will say I accidentally got this stupid skin, which I would not recommend to anyone, but it does have the added benefit of showing a little bit more head than your mom expected. What's up? Hey, no, I'm just kidding. It shows a little bit of the character's head, so it is kind of pay to win, but it is what it is. I didn't mean to do it anyway. I was trying to be a ghillie, and for some reason, it just auto-turned it on, so that's pretty incredible. But we're working our way over here, and the reason why is because I like to play with specialists just like those other guys do, because it turns you into a freaking super soldier. It turns you into a player that is just gonna dominate. So we are gonna dive in this window right here because there's a couple of things that I like to do off rip, and step number one is get key cards, get pool balls, and to do so, we are going to go right here. We got a pool ball right here, which I'm gonna grab. I'm gonna go up right here. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay, that site is weird as hell. That guy died anyway. That is crazy. So I like to go up to the next thing because sometimes the key card is going to be sitting there, which it was. So I will dodge this corner right now because nothing spawns in that corner. We're going to take this zip line. We're going to work our way upstairs. And right between these two boxes, there's often a pool ball or a key card. We got one of those, which is good. I'm going to take this because I don't like the compact. I think the compact is a much worse gun. Get that guy out of there. Don't necessarily need to fight anybody. The only reason I'm shooting those guys... Oh, you see how that box was open on my right? This guy probably grabbed the ball. So I'm going to be missing a pool ball unless I chow that guy. I like to use hybrid so that I can dive as well as slide. So what I'm going to do is... That guy's dead. That guy had the pool ball, which is unfortunate because his stuff could have fallen like right here. Looks like the pool ball is probably still up top. I'm going to use my mic for echolocation. Check, check, check. Nobody's here. Pool ball should be on his body. I'm telling you, it should be here. Unless it fell all the way down, which would be super unfortunate. There's another guy here. Hello? Check, check, check. Now, the reason I'm using my mic this way is because currently proximity chat's a little weird, right? So what you can do is you can utilize proximity chat to see if anybody's nearby, because when you talk with your mic open, it'll only pop up whenever there's an enemy within proximity chat distance. Oh, I have proximity chat turned off. Hello, hello? A little bit weird there, but okie doke. And then to stop plating, what I'll do is I'll actually... There's a guy right outside. We're going to dodge him. We don't necessarily need to fight him, so I'm going to rotate up. What I'll do to stop plating is I'll punch. So if you have a quick fix, what you'll notice is when you go to plate, it'll always try and finish plating. You can't cancel it by pressing triangle or whatever your swap weapon button is. Check, check, check. So what you end up having to do... This guy's on the roof. Hey, brother. Got a 53649. So there's a guy right behind this door here. I can hear that there's a guy right behind this door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this UAV. Get that information. Are you sure about that, mister? So the way I figured out that last number is because when you go to do the code, it can only be 1 through 9. So if you just take a guess of what numbers are remaining, you can often get it first or second try. So what I'm doing right now is I know there's other guys around here. Guy right above me, actually. And I could just chow, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this open. We're going to toss that down there. And the reason why is because it's going to get stuck on that ledge. So instead of having to drop all the way down, I can just drop the loadout right here. And I can grab my LC-10 with my HDR. So now I have sniping and I have the best SMG in the game. So I'm going to work my way back up because we know that there's still guys up here. Probably directly above me here. Yo, yo. So he's a little bit closer than what I'd like. So instead of chowing directly, what I can actually do... jump up right here, and then jump up right here, and then rotate this direction. So I don't have to chow directly. What I can do is I can just take this ladder up, get some high ground on the guy, who, by the way, I'm pretty sure just ran away. Check, check, check. Yeah, he's not showing up on mic. So like I said, if somebody's within distance of proc chat, as long as you have proc chat on and they have proc chat on, if you talk and nothing's popping up, I'm open mic right now, then you will see that it will pop stuff up. But what I do is I set my foot pedal up to route my Go XLR to my gaming PC. So I have like a line out mic, or a line out from my Go XLR to my gaming PC so that I can talk via the press of my foot pedal. And the middle button, so I have 3 buttons on my foot pedal. The left one is so that I can clip things. The middle one is so that I can mute to Discord. And the right one is so that I can talk in game, which is what I like to do. Now right here, if you don't know, helicopters are the only vehicle in the game where the seat is on the right side. So if you are on the right side of a helicopter, then you will be able to do what I just did, which is just snipe a guy out. If you're on the left side, for some reason, the bullets don't go through as easy. Now, when I'm in a position of power, which is like super high ground, what I like to do is look where the next position of power is, where people are likely to go next. And so when I do that, first of all, I'm going to notice that there's 2 loadouts right here. And so when I do that, I'm thinking about all the places people like to go. And how do I know where people like to go? I've played a ton. I have played so much Call of Duty, so much Warzone. There's 2 loadouts right there, by the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go open mic here. Yo, 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 yo. Hello, 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 hello. Somebody else's loadout. We got 2 more loadouts right here.
What?
Not loving this circle. I'm not sure I want to stick around for the free kills. Even if they are free, it's just not worth it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate out. Now I've got $30,000. There's also a buy station on this train. And if you look at the train, you're going to notice that there's no recon on the train, even though they always have a recon on the train. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get right here because I saw a guy floating in. Hit that guy. Got another guy right here. Get rid of that guy. I heard him with my audio. I'm going to lay down right here. Wait for that guy. Get a free kill on him. Now, that's probably our guy that was doing everything. We're still missing one more guy for the record, but not got him nearby. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get a UAV. I'm going to pop one and I'm going to hold one. That way I have information on while I'm moving through with this train, but then I'm also going to have additional information whenever I get off the train. So I can see there's a few guys right here. And whenever I mark people on the map, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and memorize that location. The same goes whenever I see a person directly. They're right in front of me. I see them. I mark that in my head. I hear a bullet. I mark that in my head. I keep all these little details in my brain so that while I'm moving throughout the match, I know where the next guy is. So we still have 3 guys here. We had a guy over on this side. So sometimes I'll mark it, give myself some visual representation. We also had a guy behind, a little bit that direction, but we're not focused on that. We're going to focus up on what's in front of us because we've got to get inside the circle anyway. Now, again, we had that guy on the right. My question is, does he go up top on this building? So as we get close, again, we know there's a lot of people over here. I don't want to get caught. I'm going to pop that UAV. Now, this guy is inside. The reason I can tell is if you check the minimap, he doesn't have an arrow beside him. So if you look at this guy, there's an arrow above his head. This guy, arrow to the right of his arrow. This guy does not have an arrow. That means he's on my level. So that's how I know whether or not someone's above me or below me. Now, somebody is going up over on that side. The question is, they're at this level. That's the guy that I just killed off the train, I'm pretty sure. So another thing that I like to do is I'll memorize the skins of players. So the way that I keep in mind their skill level is I'll memorize their skins, right? So if I notice that a guy is pretty decent, I'm going to try and know what their skin is. Now, the way that I shoot enemies in close range with a sniper is different than how I'll shoot them while they're moving in a vehicle or if they're further away. So this guy, I know I got to get a little bit ahead, but I'm probably going to keep missing unless he stopped. All right. And he was getting shot by somebody else. So let's check and see if we can figure out who was shooting it. See the guy right there? Shoot a little bit ahead. We're running out of ammo. We got to keep in mind there's still probably a guy behind us. Just trying to pop some shots. Not loving the positioning right now because I don't know how many people are still nearby. So let's use our mic. Hello, 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 hello. Nobody on mic. Check, check. Nobody nearby. I just kind of use it just to see if it'll pop up. That way I know who's nearby, who's not. Or whether or not someone's within distance. I'm not seeing anything. Let's go for a UAV real quick. I know that there's going to be some guys nearby somewhere. Oh, everybody left. Interesting. So that's extra information again, that everybody has moved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go toward the next guy. So because I'm on controller, like I said, the Expel Pro Plus controller is in my hands. Because I'm on controller, I know that I can take those close range gunfights. And because I have back paddles, I can keep moving and I can jump and stuff like that. I can slide and jump and all those things. That's the guy from the train. He's going to chow that. Very interesting. Got a guy in a vehicle over there. He's going to get shot in the ass. It's a lot going on, honestly. I'm going to rotate back inside. There's too much happening, and I'm kind of out there a little bit, and I don't have a power position. So I'm going to rotate back up and focus on power position. Now, there could be a guy over at train, and I think that's who is shooting. Yeah, we got a guy right here. So that guy right there. All I'm looking for is micro movements right there. That's all I'm doing. Shoot that guy, switch to my SMG, pop some shots. And again, Texan, that was the guy that we fought on the train. Exactly like I said. Now we've got a guy in that. It looks like the arrow shows below. I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh! There it is. We know that he's still down below, or he was. So I'm going to just try and mark.
What?
It's getting a little closer. That means he's going to be in this building. really sure if there's a reason to chow it directly. So what I may do, because I've not heard him hit some like tin roof. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was going to try and dive to that building, but now I'm giving away my position. Again, we're outside of the circle. The circle's going to be weird this game for sure. I'm going to take the tip top. We're going to dive, pull the parachute immediately. Hey, big dog.
Hey, look.
No, bro. Now, if I shot at that guy, most of the time what's going to happen is the other guy's going to go for the chow. I got too much audio in my ears right now. I'm going to try and open that and get rid of the audio. Hello? Not showing up on mics. Check, 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 check. This guy is not showing up on comms. My guess is that he's rotated out because he was showing up a second ago on comms, or I was technically. My man. Could have just rotated, honestly. So I'm just going to keep my mic open for a second so that I can find people. And we're just going to work our way toward this buy. I'm going to use as much information as I can. See the guy right in front? Oh, I tried to pre-aim for that guy, but he just, he played it right. He's taking the zipper up top. I'm going to toss a nade. I'm talking open mic, so it'd be wild if he didn't dodge it. Hey, big dog. It's just him. And so what I did right there is I was paying attention to his skill level. He's using a skin that looks like a bot skin, right? He hasn't spent money on the skin. So what that lets me know is that most likely he's not going to be the greatest player. So I can utilize that information to know whether or not it's going to be safe to push him. And while there's no guarantee that a skin means literally anything, it does let me know a likelihood, right? And you kind of have to run the chances every single time you do something like that. So let's grab a UAV. He had dropped a heartbeat sensor, and heartbeat sensors again are another thing that just gives you a ton of information. See a guy top of this building. You can tell again because of the arrow. He doesn't know that I'm here. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate over to this. Let me check with an open mic, see if anybody's here. Nobody's on mic, but they are going up top. Yo, 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 yo. So this guy's closed off from prox chat, which is interesting. We heard him climbing up the ladder. Let's pop the UAV. Yeah, he is up top. Not exactly ideal. Get that guy. This guy's probably going to chow right here because he saw the shots. He does. We're going to toss a nade immediately, and it gets the kill. So people are kind of predictable, right? When you play this game, you have to understand that most players are going to be pretty predictable. So take, for example, this guy. I pop a shot. He's like, ooh, guys near me. I want to get sights on. I know that there's another guy right over here, right? I'm memorizing that. You got this guy right here as well. Let that guy get the kill. He's going to stand up. I'm going to pop shots at him. He's going to go for a snipe. I'm going to kind of scoot over a little bit. I'm going to toss a nade for free. Now, he's probably pretty decent because he chowed right after, right? So, yeah. He's going to stay right there, but he's going to chow again. Yeah. Pretty predictable there. But so is I, so. I'm going to pop one smoke. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to toss it just to see if I can get sights on where he's at. No. So this guy's kind of got me dead to rights here. I'm going to drop off and I'm going to row out. Fighting him is pretty dumb, and we absolutely do not need to do it because he's got obviously a very good shot. I'm going to go ahead and rotate around here. We're going to hold our heartbeat out and double check that no one's here. We're going to go grab a self-revive again. You're playing solos. You are by yourself. You're going to want to self-revive. So grab the selfie. and grab another UAV. Now, I don't necessarily need to chow directly to him. I do want to see if he's still there. It looks like he may have taken a different position. I just saw a guy pop up on the map right there. He showed up above, which to me means he's on that second level. Probably just chilling right here. Yep, you can see it. Now, I popped a shot at him. He should move. Giving away my position. I have no idea why this guy's not chowing me. Because you can... Oh, that's not him. Okay. So check the heartbeat. The guy was ghosted on the minimap. Yo, yo. Thank you, Bumblebee. Check the heartbeat again. See if anybody's nearby. We're going to have to utilize our UAV in a second. But there's no buy stations in the map that we're going to be able to get to very easily. So if we go for a kill, or we use this UAV in a situation where we don't need it, and by the way, you know what? I'm very tired of this audio master game volume dialogue. Let's turn this all the way off. I can't listen to my guy saying all that shit. I'm going to need to know where that guy's at. Let's go ahead and pop it. We've got this precision right here. He is still up here. So I wonder if I go right here. Oh, he's second floor. Cracked. Try and shoot through one of these windows. You can see the cardboard on it. Could mean that it's something you can bang. Wall bang. Not like your mom. Let's go ahead and hit a little bit of a rotation. See. Okay, so I just saw a little bit of movement down there. We're looking for micro movements now. You can see that the guy that was right here, he's rotating this way. So we're going to utilize that information to know that we're probably good. We're going to look for where he was. I'm going to go straight to the building. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take the top of this roof. This is going to be the safest place on the map. And since he left it, we may as well go for it. And notice that I'm running with my knife out. That lets me move as fast as physically possible. We've got this high ground now. We know that this guy's a sniper, so we got to keep that in mind for later. We're looking for him. There was probably another guy over there. Oh, he's looking. He's looking. Let's check heart. Because he did not have ghost. So he's probably rocking bird's eye if I had to take a guess. So that he can keep that information. Get a crack on that guy. Get the clean. Now, when it gets to the late game, what you want to do is you want to think about where you would hide. If you were a player that wasn't the dominator, right? You're not the guy that's going around absolutely slamming people. Where do you go? And that's where I want you to imagine everybody else is. That is the only way that you can know where people are if you don't have a UAV. Just think of where all the hot spots are. Where would you go in a situation where you needed to get cover? You needed to make sure that you were going to be able to live. And then what I like to do is I like to constantly ping around certain areas to see if I can get a live tag. And if I see that I got a live tag, oftentimes it'll pop up on your mini map as well, so you can utilize that. It'll pop up on your compass at the top of the screen. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep this high ground. Now, people are going to know that I'm here no matter what because of, again, paying attention to positioning, right? Everybody does the exact same thing. You're thinking, all right, where's somebody going to be? I should check the top of this building. I should check the top of that building. How did you know that guy was going to be there? You know, you're paying attention to every bit of information that you have at your fingertips. Taps. And if you're not, I mean, that's how you lose. You've got to have more information than the next guy. Now, we know that there were guys on the left, but where are they? We got a guy popping up right here. Let's mark it on the map. We're going to look over. Crack him. That guy's a little demon. Get the knock on him. He's literal dog water. Mark the PA. He's probably going to try and hide behind. We're going to pop the clean on that because he spent too long. We lost our PA, but the PA was a guarantee that that guy dies, right? So we're sitting high ground. We've got 4 people left. This guy right here just killed the other guy. We're going to pop a shot. Pop a shot again. He's dead. So now it's a 1v1 situation. Likely me versus that one guy that was an absolute demon, right? We got to keep in mind that guy was popping shots. He was hitting great snipes. So you see a smoke right there. That's the guy. I mean, that's the guy right there. He's probably going to pop out right here. He hits a slide. Great plays on his part. He's going to get a good position here. He's going to get a nasty heady based on, you know, kind of thinking about what's over there. He's probably going to have a good opportunity to take a good head glitch. He could also end up right there. So I'm looking for micro movements. Once again, that's what we're doing. We're just focused up on these little micro movements. And I'm just keeping a heady, but I'm not sitting still. I think, oh, no, maybe not. All I'm doing is just paying attention to every little movement. He knows that I'm here. You know, there's no way around it. This guy's fully aware that I'm here. I've already popped shots at him. Trying to hit my snipes. Now, obviously, sniping is one thing that you've got to learn on your own. Like, it's one of those things where a lot of it comes down to just staying centered on target. So I can't do much to help you with that unless you snipe a shitload. You see this guy right here? He's right there. I did not mean to mantle over, but I guess that's what we're doing. I'm going to rotate to the right. Make sure I'm cocked back. ADS. Instead of chowing the way that he expects me to, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little outside rotation here. Get some high ground. He's right in front of me. Probably sitting in... Oh, look at that. Free. Okay, or not. It's not the same guy, by the way. And he's free. He just ran out in the open like a goober. I mean, I just think a lot of this game comes down to having more knowledge, having the game sense, having the understanding. And when you watch these streamers, I mean, you see me right there. I'm able to explain every single thing that I do. So if you go and you watch a streamer and you're like, that guy's fucking cheating. Do you understand why he did what he did? Or could you just not come up with a reason because you aren't as good? That's kind of what you got to look at. Now, I'm not saying that you are dog shit at the game by any means, but I am saying there's going to be opportunities for you to learn, for you to grow. And if, you know, you don't have to want to get better, but you have to not be a dick when you have no idea what you're I don't want to get better, but also that guy's cheating. You can't have both. You can't have both. That is not how that works. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope some of you learned something. If you did enjoy, please let me know with a comment down below. Also, go check out the Expel Pro Plus. All right, you're going to love this thing. You can get yours for $209 using code Expel at checkout. Go to expel.gg if you want to learn more. Also, I've got headphones. I've got monitors and stuff over there, like everything you could possibly want to improve. Have a great day. Bye-bye.